I, female 43, broke up with my ex, Charlie, male 42, last spring after finding out that he cheated with his ex, Sandy, female 34. We were together for 3 years, during which I was a very committed stepmother to his kid, Sarah, female nearly adult. She and I never acted like mother and daughter, but I was the go-to adult when she had problems or needed anything because she and her mom didn't get along, and my ex would try to help, but his solutions weren't very effective. 1.5 years ago, I completed a very ambitious project for a large company. I started getting paid, but after the launch, bonuses and royalties only came in this year. I was so happy and so grateful that I opened accounts for my kids. I decided to give Sarah the birthday party that she wanted. Her birthday falls in July, and she wanted a pajama party for 25 people with a big bash, fancy cake, balloons, a DJ, and to go along with her friends to stay in a hotel out of town. This would be for her 18th birthday, so I set up a savings account under my main bank account. Charlie ended up asking me to help him fund a business idea, but I declined for a variety of reasons. We were not married, and I preferred to go solo. His business ideas sucked because he was inventing the wheel, and I would be funding everything. We ended up having to close the conversation because he got angry and said that he needed a helpful partner by his side. I responded that I was taught not to give men my money. I know I was harsh, and I apologized. I began feeling very insecure when Charlie started criticizing my makeup and personal style. He also praised other women to my face, and I felt horrible. Early in the relationship, we had issues because of his communication with Sandy, his ex, which resulted in him promising to cut her off. Fast forward, I noticed that Sandy was very active on his family's social media. She gave likes and commented a lot, so I asked him if they were still in contact because it just didn't make sense. He denied it. I went on a 10-day business trip and our communication was very off. He would only take my calls until early at night and became very vague about his daily activities. I couldn't reach him for 2 nights, several days apart. He sounded weird when we finally talked, so I lied about delaying my return for a few days and arrived 1 day earlier instead. I came home to find used protection in the trash. My world was shattered, and I threw up. His face changed when he saw me home. He also claimed to have been at his mother's house until late. I said I was sick when he asked what was happening and didn't mention anything, but he rushed to take out the trash and do the laundry. I got into his phone. I know what's wrong, and found hundreds of messages from his ex, pictures, voicemails, and conversations, as if they had never broken up. He consulted her about things, told her about his day, etc. Then I found a family chat that made me sick. He, Sarah, and Sandy spent a whole 2 days at a camping site last year when I went to visit family, and there were pictures from last Christmas with his ex at his mother's house. Obviously, he had a full-blown relationship behind my back, and his entire family was aware of it. I directly confronted him and he tried to deny it until I played one of the voicemails. I couldn't take the humiliation, so I moved out weeks later. I closed the bank account for the birthday bash and kept the money for myself. I cut everyone off, including his kid. He reached out in the last week of May. He pleaded with me not to take away Sarah's birthday celebration. I never replied. I know she's a teenager and that she has no control over her dad's actions, but she seems awfully comfortable in her pictures with his ex, and I feel extremely betrayed. Also, there's no way that I'm funding a party that I'm not going to attend for obvious reasons, and I don't want to contribute to a celebration so that his crappy family could eat and drink on my dime. Sarah's mom always had separate celebrations for her, and her gift was supposed to be a camping trip. My ex's family cannot afford the celebration unless they save way in advance. My best friend says that maybe I can send Sarah a gift if I can find it in myself to forgive her actions, but I don't feel like it. His sister sent me a voicemail the other day asking me not to turn my back on her niece. I feel awful because I know this was Sarah's dream, but I'm too disgusted to have to go through with my decision. Am I the idiot for completely canceling my stepdaughter's birthday bash and leaving her with nothing? Edit. The ex he cheated with is not Sarah's mom. She's an ex-girlfriend and much younger. Her mom is also in her 40s. Not the idiot. She's not a little child. Her cooperation is evident in going on the camping trip and grinning in photos. You cannot betray someone and then ask them to pay for your enjoyment. Don't send money. They didn't take into consideration your feelings when they were hooking up behind your back, lying to you, laughing, and what else? Why should you? They must learn that crappy actions have consequences. C'est la vie. They're not your family anymore. You owe them nothing, period. Especially when the ex is not Sarah's mom. There is no conflict of loyalty here. She doesn't care about your well-being, so why would you care about hers? She might not have realized it at the time, but her compliance with her father's cheating is a severe act of betrayal to your relationship with her and her father. Don't give her the party. Don't give her anything. This will be a powerful lesson for her to grow into a more thoughtful person. She's practically 18 years old. Yeah, never even casually mentioning that she went camping with Dad's ex-girlfriend in conversation for however long that was going on. Sarah knew and was happy to keep you ignorant. If she was under 15, I would be sympathetic, but anyone with morals at her age would know her dad is cheating on OP. His whole darn family knew and actively engaged in hiding this from you. Let them throw a Motel 6 pool party with dominoes and a boombox. You take care of yourself. It might be healthy for you to cut all ties with this group. I had always been close with my dad, 60. He was my rock growing up, always there for me no matter what. So when he announced that he was getting remarried to a woman half his age, I was shocked, to say the least. At first, I tried to be supportive. I wanted my dad to be happy. And if this new woman made him happy, then who was I to judge? But as time passed, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. When my dad dropped the bombshell that they were expecting a baby, I couldn't hold my tongue. I sat him down and told him that I didn't think it was a good idea for them to be bringing a child into the world at his age. My dad was taken aback. He couldn't understand why I would be against the idea of him having another kid. However, I explained to him that I was worried about the age gap between him and my stepmom and how it might affect their ability to care for a child properly. He didn't take it well. He accused me of being selfish and not wanting him to be happy. But that couldn't have been further from the truth. I just wanted what was best for him. In the end, my dad and my stepmom decided to go through with this pregnancy despite my objections. So am I the idiot for telling my dad he and his young new wife should not be having a baby? Maybe, but I stand by my decision because sometimes tough love is necessary, even when it hurts. Edit. His new wife is 28. You are the idiot because the ship has sailed. This was a conversation to be had earlier, if at all. The wife is going to take everything from your inheritance, by the way. Get what is sentimental from your dad and mom now before it's tossed out or taken, unless he puts everything in a trust for all his kids equally now. I hope he had a prenup. In the end, my dad and my stepmom decided to go through with the pregnancy despite my objections. Despite your objections? Wow, entitled much? Do you really think you have a say in another woman's pregnancy? Are you delusional enough to think you have any right to propose that dad's wife get rid of the baby? You are the idiot, just for this. Stay in your lane. I'm a 20-year-old woman with a big, close-knit family. We have a tradition of having weekly Sunday family dinners, which everyone looks forward to. My older brother, Mike, recently got engaged to his fiancée, Lisa. While I want to be happy for them, there's a significant issue. I don't get along with Lisa at all. Lisa and I have very different personalities. She's very opinionated and often makes remarks that appear judgmental or insensitive. At first, I tried to get to know her better and give her the benefit of the doubt, but it didn't work. She constantly criticizes our family traditions, how we cook, and even our choice of topics during dinner conversations. The breaking point came last Sunday. We had a lovely dinner when Lisa started complaining about the food, saying it wasn't up to her standards, and that we should consider changing our traditional recipes to something more modern. This upset my mom, who spends hours preparing these meals and takes pride in her cooking. After dinner, I pulled Lisa aside and I told her that her comments were hurtful and that she needed to be more respectful of our family traditions. She brushed me off, saying she was just trying to help us improve. Frustrated, I told her that she wasn't welcome at our family dinners anymore if she couldn't be respectful. Mike overheard the conversation and got really angry with me. He said that I was being rude and unreasonable and that Lisa was going to be part of our family, so we needed to accept her. My parents are upset too because they don't want family drama, especially during our cherished dinners. I feel conflicted because I don't want to cause a rift in the family. Still, I also don't want to sit through more dinners with Lisa, making everyone uncomfortable. Some of my friends say I did the right thing by standing up for my family, while others think I should have been more diplomatic. So, am I the idiot for telling my brother's fiance she's not welcome at our family dinner? Ha ha ha. Oh my God. He has the gall to call you rude and unreasonable when this woman comes to someone else's house and criticizes the free food. And not only that, but then says the conversation isn't up to her standards. If she has such high standards, she can go to wherever caters to her and not with people who she basically considers beneath her. I'm with you on this one. I think it's disgusting that she has the arrogance to walk into a family dinner that's not hers and comment on the cooking, saying it's not up to her standards. Who does she think she is? Next time she does it, confront her at the table. Ask her why she's so rude and why doesn't she stay away if she doesn't like it. Start a fight. She needs it. And demand she cook dinner next time to show you how it's done. Yeah, Lisa's a snob and an idiot, and your brother should tell her to show more respect in the family home. But this is not your place, OP. If it's your parents' home, it's their decision who comes and who gets banned. You shouldn't have spoken directly to Lisa. The conversation should have happened privately between you, brother, and/or parents. Everyone's the idiot here. You should have handled it better. I, male 34, won a windfall a few days ago, and today, a delivery with pay at pickup came. My wife, 30, ordered a bunch of clothes, and the total was around $800. She didn't ask me beforehand and assumed I'd cover it since I won the money. I refused the delivery because I have other plans for the money, like saving up for future house renovations. Now she's upset with me, saying I made a big deal out of it. I understand she might want to treat herself, but $800 is a significant amount to spend without discussing it first. I'm trying to be responsible with this unexpected money and think about our long-term goals. It's not like we can't spend any of it on fun things, but we should talk about these expenses together. She's giving me the cold shoulder now and making me feel guilty. I tried explaining my perspective, but she insisted I'm being unreasonable and ruining the fun of an unexpected windfall. I'm stuck between feeling like I'm doing the right thing by being cautious and worrying that I'm too strict or controlling. Am I the idiot for refusing to pay for her order without discussing it first? Or should I just have let it go and paid? Not the idiot. She knew exactly what she was doing when she ordered and put it on COD. She thought if it was at the house, you would be pressured into paying for it. Now she claims you're making a big deal out of her attempt to manipulate you into paying $800. Don't give in to her temper tantrum. Silent treatment. What's next? She's going to hold her breath until she gets her way? At least if she holds her breath long enough, she'll pass out. And maybe a good night's sleep will fix her attitude. An impulse buy of $800 on clothing is ridiculous. My spouse and I agree that anything under $50 doesn't have to be discussed, but larger purchases need to be discussed, and we check the budget before spending. I know $50 may not seem like much, but a strict budget, lower income, it's a must. I highly recommend that you and your wife have a few sessions of marital counseling to get on the same page here. Are we talking about $10,000 or $10 million? Is $800 a lot in the grand scheme of things, or a drop in the bucket? If it is a drop in the bucket, I'd probably have paid for it and set my wife down for a discussion before deciding what to do with the clothing, whether to give it to her, return the full or partial order, or give it to charity if I got a lot of flack and BS. I, 37 male, have been married to my wife, 36, for 10 years. When I started dating her, she was a single mom, as her ex had fled the state after she got pregnant. My wife never wanted to tell our son that I was not his biological father. She wanted to wait until he was an adult in his 20s, and we decided on that when we married. I found out last week from one of my friends that my wife was having an affair. I confronted my wife about it. She initially denied it, but she admitted to it after I told her I had physical proof. I lied. Asked her how long, and she said a few months. I then immediately went to my son and told him everything. I also told him I was not his biological father, that my wife tends to go for these terrible men, and I made a mistake marrying her. My son was shocked and asked my wife if what I said was the truth. My wife said yes. My son then came over and hugged me. He was crying, and I told him that I would always consider him my son. I'm now looking for a divorce lawyer, and my son has completely ignored his mom over the past week. She's tried to communicate with him many times, but he always ignores her. To be honest, I think it'll really help me in the custody arrangements during the divorce, as my son's preference will be considered. My son just wants nothing to do with his mom right now. However, I sometimes feel a bit guilty about it, but I remember that I'm the victim. Am I the idiot? My wife chooses these horrible men. Yeah, no duh. You're one of them, idiot. You aren't the victim anymore. You passed it on to your child. Congrats. He clearly did. He found out the truth, immediately ran to his son, and blew up his world. This guy's a big festering idiot. Poor kid. He's the innocent caught in the crossfire between an idiot mother who can't seem to control herself and an idiot dad who straight up told him he was not his real dad as a screw you for his soon-to-be ex. That kid is going to need therapy. Yeah, and from what I'm reading between the lines, he told his kid his wife had an affair, and he's turned his kid away from the mother. Parental alienation much? I'm not sure this will play out well in court for him. It doesn't matter what happens between parents. A child should not be involved in their issues. My 28 female wedding is coming up in 3 months, and my fiance, 30 male, and I have been planning it for over a year. We've carefully chosen a menu that features dishes we both love. Recently, my sister, 26, went vegan and insisted that we provide a separate vegan menu for her and her boyfriend, 27. The problem is that we've already finalized the catering, and making changes now would be complicated and expensive. We do have some vegan options available, but my sister insists that more is needed and that she deserves a full menu tailored to her dietary needs. I offer to make sure our vegan options are plentiful and provide a vegan-friendly dessert, but she's still unhappy. Additionally, my sister's always been a bit demanding and tends to make everything about her. She even threatened not to attend the wedding if we didn't accommodate her request. This has put a lot of stress on me and my fiance, who just want our special day to go smoothly. Am I the idiot for refusing to change the menu for my sister? Should I be more accommodating even though it's our wedding and we're already stretched thin with the budget? Not the idiot. Tell her, I'm so sorry you'll miss our wedding then. OP, remember, your wedding, your rules. She can pick an extensive vegan menu for her own wedding. Also, when someone has preferences, allergies, or intolerances, they bring items to accommodate their out-of-the-norm needs. She doesn't have to miss the wedding, just the reception. Your sister's being an entitled pain in the butt. Her behavior right now is what gives vegans a bad reputation. Tell her the wedding menu is set and can't be changed now. The wedding and reception are just for a few hours. Tell her to eat before she comes, and then she'll just have to make do with the available vegan options. I promise she won't pass away from starvation in those few hours. Tell her it's your day, and she needs to stop trying to make it about herself. She's creating unnecessary drama and stress for you for no reason.